Hey everyone, Blue Boy here. This is my first ever commentary video on one of my videos, and the subject for today's commentary is a commentary on my Transformers movie rankings videos. I had an idea about it ever since I rewatched the 2007 movie on DVD and watching Transformers 1 for a fifth time in cinemas back when it was still in theaters. And I thought to myself, when I hit 2K, I want to do a Transformers movie rankings. I mean, that sure draws in a lot of viewers, and judging by everyone's reaction, I've only got like 100 average views. So I'm just gonna talk about what I originally was gonna talk about, and add some additional thoughts. And oh, my phone went off. And just in general, talk about what ads I was gonna use, and discuss my thought process and the inspirations behind it, and why it's best for me to not use a script for my ranking videos, because I just like to get things off my chest, and I usually like repeat myself and stutter and flub my lines because it's best to just like get stuff off of your chest. And there's another plane flying over me. My arch nemesis, the Red Baron. I'll get you. Quiet down. I'm trying to record here. Sorry about that. But anyways, here's the Transformers movie ranking, Part 1. Ba Weep, Grana Weep, Nini Bong. Originally, the other titles I considered were Shut Up, Grandma, and I don't know. What was it? I'm trying to think. It's another quote from, it was Ba Weep, Grana Weep, Nini Bong, and Shut Up, Grandma. I also thought about Before Time Began, or I Am the Alpha and the Omega. So anyways, let's just watch the first part.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2,000 subscriber special. And now, here's your host, Blue Boy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my 2,000 subscriber video special. Wow. It's been a...
Yeah, this is one of the first videos where I used my Leo pics with background remover on Ibis Paint X, because back when I did my Transformers 1 review, I just used random Leo JPEGs and PNGs and just cropped them, whatever. And now that I discovered background remover on Clipchamp, I think I'm happy with what I'm seeing right now.
Journey from my voice acting videos to my brief time showing off my collection of action figures to
right now I am doing a Miraculous Ladybug and Rise of the TMNT crossover audio drama based on one of my fan fictions.
That really amazing edit I've done,
yeah, this is the
and that awesome Transformers 1 review that you guys have liked. Thank you for being with me on my 5 years of being on this channel. So, what am I doing for this special occasion? I'm ranking all the Transformers movies. Yep, I took the time to watch all 5 Michael Bay movies, the 2 Reboot-verse movies, the 1986 movie, and I just wanted to talk some more about Transformers 1 since I've seen it now around 5 times.
Spoiler alert, I've seen it around 6 times now, and my thoughts have not changed one bit.
For this tier list, I decided to take a page from Comet and Cam's book of Transformers ranking videos and give the tier list some names, which are quotes from the Transformers movies. For the S tier, I decided to use a quote from Transformers 1.
Orion Pax, your noble sacrifice for the greater good has proven you worthy in the eyes of Primus.
For the A tier, which is pretty good but a bit flawed, I decided to pull a quote from Rise of the Beasts.
Time time to show you the real power of the Prime!
With SNA, I had a bit of a thought about what I was going to use for A, what I was going to use for S. Like, which quote is more worthy to use for S tier, or which one was worthy to use for A tier? Like, real power of a Prime, or Worthy in the Eyes of Primus. Like, I decided Worthy in the Eyes of Primus for S and Real Power of a Prime for A, because I was gonna use a different quote for A tier, but I decided to choose Real Power of a Prime for A and Worthy in the Eyes of Primus for S.
For B tier, a quote from the Transformers 2007 movie, which is a pretty obvious quote to use.
Pretty good, right?
I'd say a solid B-.
Very fitting.
For C tier, which is pretty good, but also pretty bad, almost like sort of somewhere in the middle, I decided to take a quote from Age of Extinction.
See, if you've got no faith in us, I'm asking you to do what
Another easy quote to use.
I'm asking you to look at all the junk and see the treasure.
For D tier, where there are barely any redeeming qualities, here's an iconic quote from the 1986 movie.
This is bad comedy.
And for the bottom of the barrel, F tier, here's a quote from Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh, the fourth battle was still awesome.
So, with that out the way, let's cue the intro and get started with this ranking.
I was just gonna skip the intro.
Beyond good, beyond evil, beyond your wildest imagination. Transformers, the movie. A new evil threatens the galaxy in the hottest summer adventure ever. Be part of it. Enter our ultimate Transformers sweepstakes. Grand prize is the stereo cassette player plus movie souvenirs. Over 100 winners get movie soundtracks or the Transformers hit single The Touch. Get this bumper sticker just for entering. Send a stamp self-addressed envelope to
Transformers Contest, Post Office Box 29943.
The Sharkticons, and there's another plane flying over me. God damn it. This is going to be a drinking game for you viewers. But I chose to use the Transformers Sweepstakes commercial, but this one has the censored address, and it's overlaid with thunderstorm sound effects.
Transformers, the movie. Opens everywhere August 8th, rated PG.
The Transformers the movie is a film that came out in 1986 and holds a special place to my heart because it was the first piece of exposure.
Yeah, I love using
it was
Sonic
the first
music for when I'm
Transformers
talking about
movie I ever saw
things
before I
in
even
my
watched
reviews.
the 2007 movie, and it was when I watched Transformers Cybertron on TV. I really didn't understand what was going on in this movie because I was just a kid, and as I got older and when I rented it on DVD,
yeah, I didn't watch most of G1 when I was a wee lad. My only pieces of Transformers entertainment were Cybertron whenever I come back from school, and watching the 1986 movie at my parents' friend's house.
When Video Easy was a thing, I
would
watched
rent
it like
whenever I felt like
whenever I
for a
felt
few
like
years.
I was in a
Like,
bad mood, or
a random set of years.
Yeah. I really like the story, even though that it does take place after season 2 and
I actually rewatched this film recently while I was watching G1 season 2 on YouTube. And I forgot to mention that the film does take place in the year 2005, even though I watched it around like 2006 or 7, and I wish that 2005 was like this.
before season 3 of the Generation 1 cartoon, and the animation for this movie is a step up compared to what was going on in the first 2 seasons of G1, because there are barely any animation errors, and all
Season 1 and Season 2 of G1 were pretty infamous for their animation errors, like the scale inconsistencies, the miscoloring, like the Blue Optimus Prime I showed you. Even Freddery made a reference to Even Freddery made a reference in G1 Redone, where Optimus is all like, why the hell am I blue?
Just watch it. I love everything about
such a
the
sight to
animation
behold.
here that Toei has
Even
cooked
if
up.
it was
made
And
in
of
the
course,
mid-80s.
with the voice acting, I really dug Leonard
2D
Nimoy
movie.
as Galvatron, Judd Nelson's Hot Rod. Eric Idle was such a delight to watch as Drekgar.
Grana Weep, Needy Bong.
And Robert Stack as Ultra Magnus was just like whatever I hear whenever I play with my Ultra Magnus figure.
And I forgot to talk about Cup and RC and Springer. Springer being the first Autobot triple changer, well, full-on triple changer, while Trax was just a blue car, and his third mode was a blue flying car. But Trax was cooler, in my opinion, and RC is pretty progressive. And they were gonna make her into a toy, but they didn't figure it out at the time. Look where we are now.
And returning cast from the G1 cartoon, they still got it, especially with Peter Cullen returning as Optimus Prime and Frank Welker.
One complaint
as
that
Megatron.
someone told me on Twitter is that I am a bit too quiet in these videos because I tend to record close to my microphone, which is the same one I'm using for this video. And I told them, well, I cranked up my volume up to 200% and my music volume to around 2 or 4% volume. So you can hear me clearer and you can still enjoy the music while I talk. You know what I mean? So yeah, in the future I'm just going to talk close to my mic without sounding like wet and gross and stuff. And there's another plane flying over me. It's like the 4th time this has happened while I record. Yeah, let's move on.
And the fight between Megatron and Optimus was just, I was on the edge of my seat every time I watch it. Especially when Optimus is like on his low health bar and Megatron is right about to kill him. And he knocks him, and then Optimus just knocks him out of here, thinking that he's won before he dies. And I also want to address the fact that this was Orson Welles' final performance ever. Since in 1985, 1 year before this film came out, he passed away, and he did not care about voicing Unicron and about the source material because
Hugo Weaving and Orson Welles shaking hands, not giving a single crap about voicing a Transformers movie.
He was just voicing a giant planet. And he went out with a bang. Kudos to Citizen Kane's greatest asset. Thank you, Mr. Welles, for giving us one of the most iconic villains in pop culture. I also want to mention that this film had some pretty banger needle drops.
Also, I forgot to mention about Spike and Daniel in this movie. They were barely in it, which is what I want in a Transformers movie, because who wants to watch a Transformers movie where it's constantly humans all the time, and the Transformers are like an afterthought?
From the likes of Stan Bush, Weird Al, NRG, Lion, and my favorite one would have to be Lion's rendition of Transformers, Dare, Touch. Those are really the objective top 3 best songs from the movie.
And I just want to point out that the song Dare to Be Stupid by Weird Al Yankovic was used in the movie Night Bitch starring Amy Adams, and they released that clip on YouTube, which I will link below once I upload it.
And this movie truly is worthy in the eyes of Primus. Also, before I move on to the 2007 movie, I just want to give a shout out to Stitch Productions and his Transformers Retold project, which I am a part of. Go check him out and go subscribe to him. Check out his Discord server. Pinned comment below.
2007.
No cheese, no onions, extra pickles.
This is a drive-through. You need a vehicle?
This commercial's a classic, and in some angles, that poor Burger King worker looks a bit like Germa 985. I mean, if you look at a low-res version, it kind of looks like Germa, don't you think? And my dog's barking. I wish I had a soundproof room. And one of the commercials I was going to use to represent the 2007 movie was the commercial where the guy was looking at his toaster and it's like, I know you got my due, or that Michael Bay Verizon commercial or any of the Chevy commercials where, hey, here's your car, and then Megatron or Optimus wrecks it, and that was awesome. And the chauffeur was all like, oh, that was awesome. Well, not for you. And need a new truck? Head to your local Chevy dealer. And there's another plane flying over me. Can you, like, not bother me?
Sir, this is a drive-through. You need a vehicle?
Yeah. Every time I watch this BK commercial, I think to myself, why is Optimus at a Burger King? Is he getting a burger for Sam?
Oh, come on.
Also, Optimus talks in vehicle mode in this commercial and not in the movie. It's like Michael Bay doesn't even know if it's right for a Transformer to talk in vehicle mode, because Bumblebee is the only one to do that through the radio, and Hot Rod does it, and RC and the Triplets do it, and Skids and Mudflap do it, and not everyone else. Also, the Decepticons do it in their Cybertronian language for some reason.
Right now at BK, there's more than meets the eye with Transformer toys. 8 different.
As for the BK toys, I used to have Scorponok and Starscream and Blackout. But right now I have Bumblebee coming out of his chamber where you press a button and it's a Camaro and Bumblebee figure. And I've always wanted the Optimus Prime where he just transforms, or you roll him back and his truck mode just splits apart. I always wanted that BK toy.
Characters from the new movie Wonder Kids Meal. Transformers have arrived. Only at BK.
Ah, Transformers 2007. The imperfect blockbuster that you are. You may not have a perfect script, but you'll always have a special place for us in our hearts and in our childhoods. And your movie was so rewatchable that the DVD would just scratch and pause at random moments.
True story.
To a point where I had to buy a new copy.
That's why I bought a new DVD.
Yeah,
that's what motivated me to make these videos.
This movie may not be like one of the best films ever made, like a 10 out of 10 cinematic masterpiece worthy of a Best Picture nomination, but it did its purpose quite well. Its story is quite simple. Some humans get involved with the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons fighting over the Allspark that can restore their life back to Cybertron, and the military and the government and their hackers and Sam and Mikaela get involved, and hijinks ensue for 2.5 hours, and some really
with the plane flying over me. Can you
jokes
like
that would
not
fit in
bother
the movie.
me? I'm
Like
busy
this.
recording here. Also, yeah, the jokes don't age well in this film. Well, most of the jokes. Like, there are some jokes I do like the Nokia's from Finland, and ooh, what else is there to laugh at? When Mojo peed on Ironhide, and Ironhide is threatening to shoot the dog, and no, we love Chihuahuas, right? We love Chihuahuas.
That's a Michael Bay movie for you. The Autobots in this movie were pretty entertaining to watch. Optimus Prime is the Optimus Prime we all know and love before it goes horribly wrong to a point where he gets flanderized. Bumblebee served his purpose quite well for being another Kid Appeal character after being a Beetle from G1 to a Chevy Camaro. Ratchet is Ratchet. Ironhide was pretty cool, and Jazz was certainly entertaining and quotable. Like, this is like a cool place to kick it.
Yeah, I have the 2007 Autobots in their Legion class, Core class, Cyberverse figures. Like, I only have Dark of the Moon, Optimus, and Ratchet. I have Bumblebee, and 07 Jazz. I've yet to own a Legion class Ironhide figure. Or heck, I've yet to own any Ironhide toy at all.
As for the humans, well, Sam was entertaining for the most part. Mikaela, she alright. Sam's parents, they have their moments, but we'll get to them in the sequels. Simmons, Kino, best character.
Yes. He is one of the best human protagonists.
Maggie
ever.
and Glenn,
Except for
they should have been like the main protagonists.
the last
Lennox and Epps.
Played by Michaela! And the voice of Oz from Fanboy and Chum Chum. I just wanted to point it out.
They're entertaining. John Voight as Senator John Keller.
Yeah. All my homies hate John Voight. Especially when he gave off an embarrassing performance in Megaflopolis and Reagan. Like, what the hell is going on with your mind right now, man?
He's alright. As for the Decepticons, well, they served their purpose trying to get the Allspark, and Megatron, who appears 2 hours in, he serves his purpose quite well. He's alright. I liked his jet mode, though.
Yeah, Megatron has a really awesome jet mode and design in robot mode in the first movie. Like, he's so awesome. I have the Studio Series version of him, except that he has his chest from Revenge of the Fall. I mean, Megatron in 2007 is like a top 5 Studio Series figure.
Blackout had one of the most iconic scenes in the entire Transformers franchise.
Yeah, I should have used a better picture for Blackout because this looks a bit blurry, like if he's in motion. And I also want to point out that he has a chest cannon like Warpath.
Starscream had 2 lines of dialogue, and his cool scene was when he took down those F-22s. Barricade had one awesome...
F-22s would never fly below airplanes. No, F-22s would never fly below airlines. That's alien. That ain't friendly. And there's another plane flying over me.
Line interrogating Sam
God
all up in his
damn it.
face. Brawl was barely in it, and he wasn't even called Brawl. He was renamed Devastator. And Scorponok had an awesome scene fighting the U.S. Army in the desert, and that was really awesome.
I forgot to talk about Scorponok. No, I forgot to talk about Bone Crusher. He had an awesome fight with Optimus at the highway, and he just got stabbed in the face.
As for the criticisms I have of this movie, the jokes don't age well for me, and I wish that it could have been shorter and
like
Transformers could have had
like
more
apples and
screen
oranges.
time because it is a franchise called Transformers and not Humans. But I will say, ILM's...
Yeah, the only time where humans take up more screen time than the Transformers, it only works in the first film because we are introduced to this big war. But with the sequels, it gets worse.
visual effects work is to be commendable and to be appreciated, and Steve Jablonsky's score is a banger, and everything.
I also want to point out that the film lost its Best Visual Effects nomination at the Oscars to The Golden Compass of all movies. Does anyone remember that movie? I only remember the Burger King toys. Like I had the polar bear toy.
About the toy line is nostalgic for me, and I do happen to own the Legends Class Jazz, which is actually pretty good. So overall, it's a pretty...
Yeah, I do have it. I wanted to show a picture of it, but I didn't have the time to do so. But it is the version where he has like cracks in robot mode, and he doesn't come with his spoiler in vehicle mode. And weirdly enough, his chest in robot mode serves as the roof for his Cadillac mode, weirdly. Whoever designed that toy should be fired and sent home without pay. I mean, what were they thinking?
Solid movie. It really is a solid B- in the end, though I would consider it giving it a Power of the Prime tier, but I'll stick it in a B.
No, wait.
Decepticon.
What? My phone? It's the new LG Versa.
Decepticon.
No, it's the new LG Versa.
Yeah. Originally, I was gonna use the M&M's commercial where Optimus just yeets a trailer full of M&M's and Red's just slowly clapping, or another Burger King commercial where Cameron Boyce, R.I.P., is with some kids at a parking lot waiting for Bumblebee to transform, and Skids and Mudflap are behind them, and it's like, "What you guys doing? We're waiting to see Bumblebee transform." And I just want to tell you that there's this this Camaro around Auckland, and every time I see it, I just think Bumblebee is gonna transform, but in the end, it's just some random dude's car. We've all had that experience.
With a camcorder. And a GPS.
And computer.
No, a Decepticon.
Here's that word again.
The LG Versa. Is it a phone or something better? Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
How'd it go?
Oh, Revenge of the Fallen. You promised to be bigger and better than the first film, only to stumble and fall and crap your pants.
Oh. Yeah,
All because you had 3 weeks to write your script. Is there anything good to say about this movie? Well, the toy line was pretty good, and they have some cool fight scenes, and...
What was your favorite Revenge of the Fallen toy from the mainline series? Like, comment below what you used to own and what you want from that toy line. Like, what did you want for Christmas or your birthday? Share me your stories in the comments.
And the designs are awesome, like Sideswipe and Sideways, and Starscream's new tattoos, and Megatron's new tank mode with his crab claw cannon arm, and...
Yeah, I really want a Revenge of the Fallen Megatron toy. I mean, I got 07, Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction Galvatron, The Last Knight, and Bumblebee Concept Series, and I've yet to own a Megatron toy from TF1.
And Jetfire was pretty entertaining to watch, and
yeah, my favorite out-of-context Jetfire line was, my father, he was the first wheel, and do you know what he turned into? Nothing! And he did so with honor!
Simmons was pretty entertaining to watch. I'd rather see a movie with them as the leads other than...
Yeah. I wanted to show off the clip where his best line was, when you go to the pot of gold, when you go to the end of the rainbow and you find a pot of gold, which is nothing, and the leprechaun has a booby trap set for you. I'm pretty sure John Turturro improvised that leprechaun booby trap line.
And Shia LaBeouf and his stupid friends that no one cares about.
I wanted to talk about Leo in this, but if you got nothing nice to say about it, then don't say anything at all. Just talk about what you truly hate. Like, I want to talk about Leo Spitz in this movie. Like, his last name Spitz was like, it's like, why do you name your character Leo Spitz? Like, it's like naming a character Charlie Hawktois or Jimmy Defecate. Like, what were they thinking? It's just a stupid last name, I'll tell you.
And the force fight was awesome. The Constructicons combining into Devastator was a sight to behold. That it burned ILM's computers. And
yeah, I made this before Theorymus released his video on how ILM pushed themselves to their limits on making Devastator. Like, TLDR, we're doing the scene for IMAX, so upgrade the textures and everything.
And yeah, that's it. This movie sucks. Yeah, and as I said before, this movie took 3 weeks to write because of the whole writer strike thing going on before what happened last year, because they were fighting over AI.
Yeah, they were on strike in around the late 2000s because of piracy of TV shows and low pay wages for the writers involved. And I think actors went on strike as well, but yeah, they were in a hotel room and they had 3 weeks to write the script.
And everything just feels rushed and not given any time to revise or expand upon, you know.
Do I also have to mention the geographical errors? Like, with the time zones between the US and Egypt and Jordan and Egypt, like, the more you think about it, like, did Michael Bay or the writers ever study geology or geography? No. Did they study geography? Did they skip classes? Like, oh, you failed your geography. Here's an F. No, you better give me that A so I look good in front of my parents. Okay, here's your A.
But the jokes in this movie just so happen to be the worst and just unbearable to watch. Like, dogs having sex, Sam's mom eating pop brownies, Wheelie humping Michaela's thigh, Devastator's testicles, and Skids and Mudflap. They are just annoying and racist. It's like if Michael Bay doesn't even understand how to be appropriate to the various...
And after watching that commercial he directed for the Super Bowl, it can be really, really uncomfortable nowadays, since he shook hands with you-know-who. And these movies can be really hard to enjoy nowadays. Yikes! And these movies will be like, Dog was like, oh, Skids and Mudflap aren't racist stereotypes, huh? Yes, they are. Like, no wonder they never got Studio Series figures. It's just a mistake Hasbro would like to forget.
Cultures that aren't white. But
especially when you have...
Did this movie deserve to win Worst Picture? Yes, it's a bad movie, but let's face it, I've seen worse. Like, how the hell did the Razzies snub Dragon Ball Evolution for a Worst Picture nomination?
Hell,
that
Justin
was
Chapman
worse
as Goku
than
Revenge
of the Fallen, because that also was affected by the writer's strike.
His acting
and
range was
everyone hated that movie. Even the fans, even Akira Toriyama, God bless his soul, but I don't get how the Razzies chose a movie that made a lot of money and overlooked a movie that got the same backlash but made less money. But there is one thing that...
Yeah, I think the Razzies chose Revenge of the Fallen to win because it was cool to hate. Like, the Razzies would like choose a movie that was cool to hate. Why didn't they nominate Emilia Perez again? Oh yeah, the Oscars were like kissing its feet of its transphobia and xenophobia.
Revenge of the Fallen has over Dragon Ball Evolution. A Linkin Park song. That was a great song. I really liked New Divide, especially with the chorus and the instrumentals and Chester's vocals. The more I think about this movie, the lower my IQ gets. This movie is going in This Is Bad Comedy. For now.
Yeah, the movies are only good if you turn off your brain and don't think about it. And, when you do think about it, maturing is when you realize, oh my god, this movie sucks!
I need a rest.
Alright, now on to part 2. Now, this one, I did not have a lot of fun talking about the third and fifth movie. Like, they were really bad, but with number 4, there are some things I like, but at the same time, there aren't that many things that I liked. And for Revenge of the Fallen, back to Revenge of the Fallen, I used Let the Speed Mend It to represent, because I wanted to use the appropriate songs for each movie. Like, yeah, Let the Speed Mend It from Revenge of the Fallen was from Sonic and the Secret Rings because of the theme of sand. And Dragon Highway from Sonic Unleashed I used for Age of Extinction because the film is set in Hong Kong, far from dense jurisdiction. And The Last Night has music from Sonic and the Black Knight because King Arthur. And every time I started part 2 and 3, I had a little message for my fans and viewers, which is a reference to Fairy Tail.
Hey guys, ready for some more Transformers movie rankings? Just make sure that when you're watching, you turn the lights on in the room, and don't stay too close to the TV.
It's been like months since I last watched Fairy Tail. I mean, I'm like up to the arc where we learn about Urza's past and she confronts her old friends, especially Jalal Fernandez. And I need to get back on watching Fairy Tail. I mean, I'm busy with shows like Daredevil and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and all that sort of jazz and rock and roll. Anyways, yeah. This also has a trigger warning of slight language not suitable for younger audiences. That's why I never label my videos under COPPA. These videos are not made for kids, by the way, because I actually did swear.
I did swear to a point where I dropped uncensored F-bombs and I had to censor it to keep it PG-13 without age restricting it and getting myself demonetized.
Previously on the Transformers movie ranking special, I covered the 1986 movie, 2007, and Revenge of the Fallen. 2 were great, 1 was ass. And I am not ready for this segment of the video.
God.
Because we are in for the roller coaster to hell. Help me.
We roll out.
Hey, so before I begin talking about Dark of the Moon, I just want to talk about the Fallen in Revenge of the Fallen. He barely did anything and was just there to do stuff and die.
Yeah, how dare they waste Tony Todd? That man is a freaking legend. He's the Candyman. He was, I think, Dreadwing in Transformers Prime, and he was Venom in the PlayStation 5 Spider-Man 2 game, and he appeared in the Final Destination movies and is set to make his final appearance in the new one. Rest in peace, legend.
Same with Frenzy. He only hacked Air Force One,
I'll be honest, Frenzy
some
was
humans
kind
and
of
died.
entertaining.
Sorry for not mentioning them in part 1,
Weird
but
picture of Leo.
let's get on with it.
Come on down to Al Chevy on Route 1 for my post-Super Bowl extravaganza sale. Touchdown! Tomorrow,
the commercials I worked was, again, another Burger King commercial where Optimus and Shockwave were fighting while everyone at Burger King was just minding their own business. Or the basketball commercial where Optimus uses his gun to shoot at a basketball hoop. And he was all like, and the players all like, we're going to need a bigger bus. And I think Optimus was all like, I'll get my trailer. Or I could have used one of either the Mech Tech or Cyberverse commercials. Yes, the term Cyberverse existed before the before the TV show. And it was a toy line of Legion class figures. And I have both Optimus and Ratchet in the Cyberverse line. Yeah, I think to myself, like, is that the events that led to Age of Extinction and to the formation of Cemetery Wind? Was that mascot the sister that James Savoy lost in Chicago?
Never mess with a Chevy, dude.
Transformers Dark of the Moon tried to improve
with Dark
upon
of the Moon,
Revenge of the Fallen, but
Sunset
ended up
Heights from
turning the
Sonic
Transformers
Shadow
into the
Generations
fireworks
because
factory to our Millhouse Van Houten.
I used Sunset Heights from Sonic Forces / Shadow Generations because it's a city being destroyed and giant robots.
Upon Revenge of the Fallen, but ended up turning the Transformers into the fireworks factory to our Millhouse Van Houten because we just want to see them on screen and not the cringe-ass humans.
Yeah, the reason why this is my worst Transformers movie is because the humans are just so annoying. Like, before even I play why I don't like them, I just want to talk about Patrick Dempsey's character. Like, he was just bland and one-dimensional and just... He was so bad I forgot he was in this movie.
Get my comparison?
Special about him.
The film starts off strong with the Battle of Cybertron and the moon landing tying into everything.
Yeah, too bad that the Transformers in the Ark can't be told apart. Like, you can't tell if that one's Ironhide or any character you see in the Ark, like a character you recognize. Like, I don't know why Bay Cultists shit on the Bumblebee opening all the time, but not the opening to Dark of the Moon, because how can you tell apart a Transformer, an Autobot from a Decepticon? Like, how can you tell apart? Like, they all have the same model. Like, sure, I'm all for protoforms, but you have to have some features and traits and height differences to tell them apart for a character to recognize. Like, why do you think that Optimus and Starscream don't look the same in their toys from 2007, their protoform toys? Because they do carry the shape of a protoform, but they have different, as I explained before, they have different styles and characteristics and shapes you recognize. Anyways, let's keep going.
But it just gets worse with the humans. This is why I jokingly call these movies humans.
And it's pretty evident with the third movie. And the fifth movie.
Sam Witwicky got a
one you hate
complete
more.
character assassination by turning from a guy who just wanted to matter by not being involved with this alien war to just, look at me, I'm a hero. You should see me as a guy that matters.
No wonder why he wanted out of this franchise after 3. And no wonder why he lost his damn mind in real life to a point where he assaulted one of his partners. Well, assaulted 2 of his partners, but I don't want to go into further detail because I'll just leave it at that.
Carly was just an annoying bitch.
And another one thing I forgot to talk about is that Megan Fox was fired by Michael Bay and Steven Spielberg because of her comments about Bay, which seem to be appropriate nowadays because of those photos and that Super Bowl commercial about the Secret Service.
Deep Wang, Ken Jeong, I love you, but this ain't it, man.
I mean, I did enjoy Ken Jeong in other things like Community as Ben Chang, or or his character in the Hangover.
Bruce, played by John Malkovich, was there only to serve as an unfunny comic relief.
Yeah, the only line I liked from him is, why is Chantel using a red cup from the red floor when we're apparently on the yellow floor? It is a visual and therefore visceral betrayal. Stop it. That was pretty funny. From a dog turd of a movie.
With a few lines that I kind of like.
Yeah.
Simmons, I love you, but I can't. No.
Yeah. Simmons was just like ogling on Frances McDormand's character and just straight up kissed her at the end credit scene where he got arrested. And I could see why John Turturro never came back for the Penguin series and was replaced by Mark Strong. I guess he kind of felt regret to what he did to Frances McDormand in the third film.
I love you, Alan Tudyk, but no. Judy and...
Yeah, thank God that Alan Tudyk voiced Optimus Prime in Transformers Earthspark. He's like one of my top 5 Optimus Prime VAs.
Ron Wiki, I mean...
Yeah, they were at their worst.
I wish you had no screen time. You served zero purpose.
And if you thought the pot brownie scene was bad, or when Sam's mom asks if Sam was priming his Optimus, wait until you see the caravan scene where Sam's mom was all like, you're not going to get a third one unless you have like a big, what the ma. That is uncomfortable and kind of proves Bob Show's point about how Sam's mom might be into Sam.
I want you written out of this movie, and don't get me started on that one bit between Judy
My anger got the
and
best of me
Sam
with this one.
in that caravan. I hate this movie.
That's
I hate the characters. I hate the humans. I hate the humans. I hate the humans. I hate the humans. I hate the Now that I got that out of my system, is there anything good about this movie? Well, aside from the opening scene, I do enjoy Lennox and Epps. Optimus was fun to watch when he's not being a vicious murderer. I do enjoy Sentinel Prime's design.
Especially the Wreckers, how they're based off of different NASCAR cars and how they're different from one another. Like Topspin is blue, Leadfoot is a Target exclusive, and Roadbuster is green. And people thought that Roadbuster was going to be in the fourth one because of the green Autobot that was shooting in the air, and it turned out to be Crosshairs. And John DiMaggio voiced one of them, and he went on to voice Crosshairs in the fourth and fifth movie, and Nitro Zeus and Stratosphere in Rise of the Beasts.
I do love Frances McDormand as Charlotte Meering, because she had a point about Sam not being the wartime hero, Gary Stu, piece of shit.
And she was certainly enjoyable in Madagascar 3 and Nomadland.
But he's just a messenger. Suck it up, asshole. You know, it can be really hard to find the good spots in a movie you absolutely hate to your dying breath. I mean, I did like the toys that came with it. I remember owning the MechTech Optimus Prime and the Leader Class Bumblebee, and right now...
Unfortunately, those toys broke. Like, the hinge for Optimus's truck mode that connects his back leg to his truck cab top broke off, and Bumblebee's wheel broke. Unfortunately. You know, if I had that Leader Class Bumblebee again, I'd probably sell him.
Now I have the Cyberverse Optimus Prime and the Voyager MechTech Megatron, which are pretty good figures in their own way.
Yeah, he really was $5. I got him at an Armageddon Expo last year, and he surprisingly came with the shotgun that evasion mode Optimus Prime had in the Age of Extinction toys. He was surprisingly intact, and right now I did get the Cyberverse Ratchet, which is my first Bayverse Ratchet figure, even though I've never owned either Deluxe or Voyager Ratchet figure from 07. I should really look harder for a Ratchet figure or an Ironhide figure.
It sucks that they came from a shitty movie. Now, how would I fix this movie?
Like most of the movies.
Make Shockwave the
toys
big
are the
villain.
only good
Cut out all the humans, focus more on the Transformers, don't make Optimus into a psychopath, and have an actual good ending that doesn't end.
Yeah. My first shout out to Theorymus in this series. I even added his video from the iCard.
Abruptly. Okay? This movie is just weak, puny, waste of metal, junkyard crap. I wanted to put it in This Is Bad Comedy, but no. No. I hate this movie. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. You. Fuck you. I hate this movie so goddamn much. I don't know why people like it.
I'm being angry again.
They're stupid. If you like this movie and admit its flaws, that's fine. But if you like this movie and consider it the greatest thing ever since sliced bread, you can go fuck yourself.
That message was directly towards the Bay cultists. Like, those Transformers fans who think that Dark of the Moon is one of the greatest movies ever made. Like, on par with, like, Citizen Kane or Inception or Star Wars or... Like, yeah, it's fine if you have nostalgia for it, and if you notice the flaws as you get older and rewatch it, and yeah, if I were to please you guys, the objectively highest rating I'll give it is like 5 at best. But I really don't like those kinds of Transformers fans who like everything Michael Bay does and dismisses not just G1, but Beast Wars, the Unicron trilogy, Animated, Prime, and even the newer stuff like the comics and the reboot verse.
At best, this movie will put you to sleep, but at worst, this movie is like an endurance test, and it will make you angry the more you watch it. Also, I want to give a shout out to Bob Show's review of DOTM, because I kind of share his opinions.
Yeah, another thing I like about Bob Show's reviews is that every time Sam refers to Bumblebee as a car, he's all like, "He is not your car! He is your friend who just so happens to twist and turn his body into a car!" And, yeah, you should really check out Bob Show.
Let's just move on.
Oh, the Oreo commercial. Again, other commercials I thought about using were the One-Step Changer Optimus and Flip and Change Grimlock commercial where a kid was at a dig site and Grimlock just appears and Optimus transforms and he rides Grimlock, or the Benga One-Step Bumblebee commercial, or that soccer commercial where Optimus is trying to defend a goal and he squishes the soccer ball with his fingers, and he was all like, "Not bad for a human." Yeah, I could have had some alternatives for this commercial, but the Oreo one was pretty funny.
Thanks, kid.
Oh, that was really nice. Also, why did Optimus want that Oreo? Was it infused with Energon? Did he feel bad for shooting down Oreobot's arm off?
This is gonna surprise a lot of people,
Yeah,
but
I'm one of those fans.
I actually enjoyed Age of Extinction. Look. I know it's not perfect. I know it has issues. I know it's not the best one, but hear me out. I like the idea of the humans turning against the Transformers after everything they've done and making their own Transformers, which isn't really a new concept. Like, we have seen human-built Transformers before with Nightbird and G1 and Nemesis Prime and Prime.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize for that statement about Nightbird, because I did watch the episode where... This was before I watched the episode Enter the Nightbird from G1. Like, my only knowledge of Nightbird being in G1 was with the toys based on her G1 counterpart. Like her Masterpiece and her War for Cybertron toy. Like, what was I thinking with that? I'd like to apologize for referring to Nightbird in G1 as a Transformer, even though we later see her as a Transformer in Rise of the Beasts and in Cyberverse. But I was on point with that Nemesis Prime from TFP comparison.
But I could see this done better if it were written better, if Aaron Kruger was more of a competent writer, like the competent writer he would later become for Top Gun Maverick.
That, and if Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci came back for the third and fourth movie, but they were busy doing other things, like a good Transformers cartoon like Transformers Prime.
And I did enjoy Mark Wahlberg as Cade Yeager, even though he is debatably inferior or superior to Sam Witwicky, but I lean more to the superior category because he's got a good heart. And I really know that his name, Cade Yeager, kind of sounds stupid, but
Yeah, according to Bob's show, the video in name meaner in Cade Yeager means round hunter. That way, he searches around and hunts for scrap that will become like bigger and better inventions, and he can be a rounded character. Like, yeah, watch Bob Show's review of Age of Extinction to see what I mean.
And the whole him being an inventor is really stupid, but come on, I could see an inventor being a protagonist in the Transformers franchise. And I did enjoy the Autobots in this one. Though this may be an unpopular opinion, but I like Hound, Drift, Crosshairs better than Ratchet, Ironhide, or Jazz.
Well, at least they made it through the fifth one, and surprisingly, I have the toys for these guys. Like, I have the Last Night Crosshairs figure. I have Drift and Hound from the Age of Extinction toy line, even though their paint scheme is based on the Autobots Unite 5-pack. And I have like 3 Drift toys. One Studio Series where he transforms into his helicopter, mainline Age of Extinction, his Bugatti, and Last Night his Mercedes alt mode, which is basically a retool of his AoE deluxe figure, but his vehicle mode is facing the wrong way.
Because they all lived. And it was nice seeing Bumblebee and Optimus again.
And I even liked his evasion mode for Bumblebee and Optimus when they're on the run before meeting up with the other Autobots. but I will understand the criticisms of his 2014 concept Camaro mode in robot mode, where he looks more like Stinger and you can't tell apart his vehicle parts. Like, that was a big issue people had with the designs in AoE. Like, it's fine if you don't like them, but at least you can tell apart Drift's vehicle parts.
And the Dinobots were pretty cool, even though they didn't have that much screen time and were only there in the third act.
Yeah, about the Dinobots. I really wish that Scorn was there in G1 from the beginning, because I wish we had, like, a Spinosaurus Dinobot. And if Hasbro were to revisit the Dinobots from AoE, turn them into Commander class figures, because I did recently see some photos of Studio Series AoE Prime riding on Leader class Grimlock, and he does not look proportionate. Just make him like Titan class or Commander class, whichever one's more appropriate.
Lockdown was a pretty awesome villain, because I've been a fan of him since Transformers Animated.
And fun fact, Lockdown's Lamborghini mode was Michael Bay's personal Lamborghini.
And Stanley Tucci was a fun joy to watch, and Kelsey...
Yeah, like all Stanley Tucci performances, he's nice to watch, like in Robots, Devil Wears Prada, Captain America the First Avenger, this movie, and Conclave, even though I've yet to watch it.
Kelsey Grammer played a really intimidating villain with Harold Attinger.
Almost like if Sideshow Bob was like a CIA agent, or Stinky Pete from Toy Story 2.
Now let's get to the elephant in the room. Stuff that really got its infamous reputation. Shane Dyson is one of the worst human characters in all of Transformers.
Yeah, someone on Twitter mentioned that I didn't know Drake was in this movie after I made a retweet saying, which movie would you prefer, Humans, Age of Consent, or the best Transformers movie ever made? And it's a comparison between Age of Extinction and Transformers 1. And someone replied with, I didn't know Drake was in this movie. Yeah, if you know, you know.
Tessa was just there.
And I forgot to mention that her actress is a Zionist and a Nepo baby, which is why Katara was white in the Last Airbender movie. And I forgot to mention that her acting range may be a bit better from before, but she still has an acting range of Gal Gadot.
And yes, the Romeo and Juliet love scene really is one of the worst scenes in all of the Bay films. Could be the worst.
Like, who thought it was a good idea to put that scene in the movie? Like, who decided, like, at a table reading, one of the actors be like, are you sure you want to put this in the movie? And the director's all like, yes, we are putting this scene in the movie whether you like it or not. Okay, whatever.
But we'll get to the last night sooner. I asked you all on my YouTube community post which were the worst scenes of the 5 Bayverse films, and a lot of you agreed that the Romeo and Juliet law scene is the worst, along with many other scenes, and I agree with you all. And, of course, the Decepticons were kind of wasted, especially with Galvatron, because it was nice to have Frank Welker back as Galvy, but they were just there for the seed and nothing else. They were just there as generics.
Foot soldiers or cannon fodders.
Given nothing to do except to die. Weak.
Puny waste of metal, junkyard crap. And that weak was kind of a reference to the Nostalgia Critics' Revenge of the Fallen video.
And one more thing. Why is this movie set in China?
Flying over me again.
Because...
Yeah, the reason why the Autobots went to China is to avoid Lockdown's jurisdiction. I did make a post on Nolan Batman memes about Age of Extinction, where I said, this is Lau's favorite Transformers movie because Cade and the Autobots go to Hong Kong, far from Lockdown's jurisdiction, because Lau is so popular on Nolan Batman memes, and we will never stop posting Lau memes on that subreddit. Like, I wish I made this before the Lau memes came into full effect.
money. China really loved the first 3 Michael Bay Transformers movies, and they ate that shit up. And they even held a contest for Chinese people to audition for the 4th movie, and they ended up being in the movie, which I admit was a pretty cool concept. But yeah, Michael Bay was really whoring himself out to the Chinese audiences, wasn't he?
Yeah, and China is like the biggest movie market. That's why Ne Zha 2 made $1 billion in China alone, even though it's been like 11 days and it's new there.
Now, can this movie be improved? Yes. Make Shane and Tessa the same age, and make it shorter, make the Decepticons more competent and more fleshed out, and yeah, that's how I would improve it.
And bring back Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci, because what they did with Amazing Spider-Man 2 was questionable, to say the least.
Overall, this movie is just kind of mid. Yeah, a solid 5 out of 10, but I'll put it in the look at all the junk and see the treasure. Like, among all the cool stuff you like, there is an equal amount of bad stuff that you don't like. Also, another fun behind-the-scenes trivia, TJ Miller really hated Michael Bay on set, and in response, he killed him off. It's just pretty funny because TJ Miller is also a shitty person in real life.
Rare Michael Bay W.
I'm with Bay on this one, because TJ Miller. Anyways, let's move on, shall we?
Subtle foreshadowing. It's not good.
In this Transformers Summer Sweepstakes, we could win a screening of the new Transformers movie.
I love those movies. All the action, the fighting robots, the explosions.
Man, I wish Transformers existed in real life.
They do.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Sonic commercials I just chose out of the blue because I originally wanted to use the fake behind-the-scenes videos, like where Optimus was with a dialect coach or trying to open his chair, or when Hound was talking to those prop heads, and then Josh Duhamel was all like, "Oh, here I am, Ironhide. Here I am, Hound." And when Bumblebee was in the recording booth and he was just singing, and the director was all like, "No, no, no. You were supposed to say the Earth is still worth saving." Or I could have used that one Russian gas station commercial where Bee and Barricade were fighting. I couldn't find it, but it's there. Or I could have used that B-Rad sucks ad where the girl was so mad at her ex that she spray painted on the Camaro and it turns out to be Bumblebee. Or that Chinese Coca-Cola commercial.
They should make a movie about this.
Oh, yeah.
Enter the Transformers Summer Sweepstakes with new color-changing slushes and see Transformers The Last Night in theaters June 21st. This is how you Sonic.
Hey guys, I think I might lose brain cells speaking into the mic talking about Transformers The Last Night, so I'm just gonna write down a Star Wars title crawl on the questions I have on why is this movie so goddamn terrible. Here are the questions I have regarding Transformers Movie 5, The Last Night.
That was my favorite part of this video.
Why does this movie constantly change aspect ratios every 2.5 seconds? Why does this have to involve King Arthur? When did Galvatron become Megatron again?
It made sense in the fan film by TFI Creations.
Why does Squeaks exist?
Because they wanted their own BB-8 and Paper Plane made a video about that.
How did Earth suddenly become Unicron?
Because they wanted to jump the shark and do what TFP did, but worse.
Why is Optimus barely in this goddamn movie?
That's the same problem all the other movies had. Optimus is barely in it, but I'll give Age of Extinction that. He was given more to do and had an arc.
How does Bumblebee sound different with his normal voice compared to his brief time he had a voice at the end of the first movie?
Because he didn't bring back Mark Ryan to record Bee's new lines. Or more accurately, Michael Bay left in the temp audio of one of the sound engineers.
Why did they waste another Combaticon with this one after barely doing anything with Brawl?
At least they didn't waste my boy Swindle, or Blastoff, or Vortex.
Why didn't we see Cogman with his Headmaster gimmick?
They had him into toys doing his headmaster gimmick because we were going to have Titans Return, and we have Cogman as a headmaster, so he's compatible with the other Titan Master toys.
Who thought it was a good idea to make Cade and Vivian find the clues to Merlin's staff sound like they're having sex?
Because apparently sex jokes are still funny in these movies.
How was Simmons able to walk again after being wheelchair-bound in the third act of Dark of the Moon?
Yeah, someone on Discord explained to me that he wasn't paralyzed, he was just injured. Which happens to us all, I guess.
What was with the deal with the Order of the Witwickens? Speaking of the Witwickens, how did they get the name before Archibald Witwicky discovered Megatron in the Arctic Circle?
Yeah, it's like being called a blacksmith before the first person was ever called Smith.
Why did the writers of Iron Man, Batman, and Robin and Walking Dead screw this one up?
Because Akiva Goldsman hasn't written a good script since winning an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind. And Art Markham and Matt Holloway later wrote Men in Black International and the Uncharted movie, which I enjoyed the Uncharted movie.
Who thought it was a good idea to retcon everything that came before in the first 4 movies?
As Optimus Prime said, there is no plan.
Why did Anthony Hopkins say yes to starring in this film?
Like every prestigious actor appearing in a Transformers movie, they want to do it for their kids.
Is the TRF basically the same as Cemetery Wind from Age of Extinction?
Well, Cemetery Wind was basically CIA and hunting down every faction. They don't care if it's Autobot or Decepticon. They just kill it for Transformium. While TRF is basically just safer than Cemetery Wind because they're just putting Decepticons in prison. And that one guy was all like, oh, come on, Lennox, they're all bad. And he's all like, no, not all of them.
Why did they bring Stanley Tucci back to this film and not reprise his role as Joshua from the movie 4, but as Merlin?
Because, yeah, I don't have an answer for that.
Why hype up 2 new combiners only to do nothing with them in the final battle?
Toys.
When did Cybertron become smaller and have greenery all around it? Why?
They don't care about continuity.
Is Tony Hale there?
Yeah, he had a funny line with, like, I got physics and math and stuff. Yeah, if you don't know who Tony Hale is, he was Buster Bluth in Arrested Development, and he voiced Forky in Toy Story 4, and was the replacement voice of Fear in Inside Out 2.
What the hell was with that J-Lo line towards Izzy?
Because racism.
What was the point of Jimmy?
To be a pointless comic relief given nothing to do.
What happened to the Dinobots after the fight in that ghost town?
Yeah, we don't know what happened to the Dinobots. Did they stay home?
Where's Epps?
To take care of his Shayla. And in reality, just to star in Fate of the Furious.
And another thing. Why is Hot Rod French? I know he hates the accent, but why? When I was 14...
Yeah. I have nothing but respect for Omar Sy. I heard he was good in that Lupin series on Netflix, but who thought it was a good idea to make him French in this movie?
This was the first Transformers movie I ever saw in a movie cinema. I thought it was the greatest thing I've ever seen this year, back in 2017, but as I got older and turned my brain on, oh god, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah, maturing is when you realize that turning off your brain in the cinema is only good when you don't think about how bad this movie is. Like, you're just blinding yourself like, oh, come on, these people are just pretending. Like, oh my god, I get it. This movie is ass.
Then again, I do enjoy Katie Yeager more than Sam Witwicky, but no. Why, man? Why? Anthony Hopkins, you're a legend, but you're enjoyable to watch in some parts, but no. Just no, dude. No. And why do you shun the Marvel movies that you starred in, but sing the praises of this movie that...
Like, every time someone brings up that Anthony Hopkins did not have fun playing Odin in the Thor movies, I bring up the fact, like, dude, you were in Transformers 5. You did this for your grandkids and for a high paycheck.
That you also starred in. Maybe it must have been a paycheck. Lennox, It's good to have you back, but... no. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Vivian, you were just there, even...
Yeah, people call her Discount Megan Fox, but I call her either Discount Emily Blunt or Star-Lord's mom.
Though, I do... you see what I mean? It's hard to talk about some good stuff in this movie, because this movie is just so bad. I didn't like how the fight between Nemesis and Bumblebee was hyped up, even though it only happened in like 90 seconds. They showed all the footage for the trailers, and they just ended this fight with a whimper, with Bumblebee finally speaking to Optimus to talk.
Yeah, that was like a shark jumping moment. Like one of the many instances where the Bay films jumped the shark.
Him out of Quintessa's brain control. And Earth being Unicron. It made sense in Transformers Prime, but they never explained it. They never addressed it in the previous 4 movies. They just said, oh yeah, Earth is Unicron now.
Yeah, remember when they came to Earth for the Allspark? But no, they came here to kill Unicron and bring Merlin's staff to Quintessa. Because we don't care about continuity in the slightest. We just want money.
I'm just gonna put this in the weak, puny, waste of metal, junkyard crap tier. And I have to agree with everyone else in the fandom that this is the worst Transformers movie ever. While Dark of the Moon made me angry, The Last Knight just left me confused, frustrated, and just brain dead all around. Who knew my favorite memory from this movie was owning the Voyager class Optimus Prime figure and customizing him to make him more film accurate?
Unfortunately, he broke in half. And I'm still waiting for him to get repaired.
I had more fun doing that than watching this movie. Overall, I'm just done talking about the Bay films in general. I just want to talk about the good stuff when we get to part 3.
Now, before I go on to part 3, I want to talk about the alternate names I wanted to use for part 2. Like, I wanted it to use, You Wretched Human, or Tell Megatron Let's Tango, or, but I went with, I do have a saying, I don't care. Which is a pretty badass line, if I'm going to be honest.
Hey guys,
again with the
ready
fairy
for some more
tale
Transformers movie ranking?
reference?
TV 86 movie. Previously on this ranking series, I covered the 1986 movie, which was awesome. The 2007 movie, which is flawed, but it was really good. The sequels, which all sucked to varying qualities. And
It's like
I
a roller
am
coaster.
ready to talk about
It's not yet
best
finished, but you're still writing it
ones
anyway.
Yet. Finally,
I had
let's
a
get
lot of
to
fun
it.
talking about these ones.
We roll out.
Intro, skipping. The appropriate Bumblebee commercial to use.
Bumblebee. Oh, Bumblebee. A refresher after 5 live-action movies with rotten scores and divided reactions, only to give us a film that can unite us for giving us a good movie with an awesome opening sequence, followed by an 80s throwback, followed by just... I love it! I love it! I love it so much! When I saw this in cinemas, like, oh, everyone was right. This is the Transformers movie to be hyped for.
Yeah, originally I was a bit skeptical about it like everyone else, but thanks to the word of mouth, it lived up to the hype.
I was a fan of Kubo and the Two Strings, directed by Travis Knight.
I need to
and
rewatch that
when he was
film
gonna
in the
make his
future.
jump to live action. Oh, I need to see this movie right now. I need this movie in my veins right now. When I was 16, I ate that shit up. I loved it, and just and oh my god, I can't express how good this movie is aside from that overly talked about opening sequence. This movie in a nutshell is basically just like a copy of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which was copied to The Iron Giant. except it has more giant robots fighting each other. Which is basically like the 2007 movie, but 109 minutes long and good and competently made. No.
Yeah. People will hate this movie for being an E.T. ripoff, yet they'll give Iron Giant or the first Transformers movie a pass. That's the hypocrisy of film Twitter.
Shaky cam, just a good 80s throwback movie that everybody...
Yeah, about that no shaky cam comment. Has anyone noticed that there is no shaky cam in both Bumblebee and Rise of the Beasts? At all? That's quite refreshing.
He loves. Let's discuss the characters. Our title character, B-127, aka Bumblebee, has a really good arc. Starting off as a warrior with a cute design, to just losing his memory and just trying to find his place and regaining his memories, all the while bonding with good old Charlie Watson. And I gotta say, this movie really succeeds at focusing on the titled characters for once. The problem I had with the Bayverse is that the Transformers themselves took up like 35% of the 2.5-hour runtimes of each.
Yeah, I actually did some math on it. Like, on Discord, someone calculated up the screen times of the Transformers in each of the 6 movies, and I divided that with the screen time of the films plus credits, and approximately they do take up about 35% average of the screen time
each film, while this movie, at its short runtime, has Bumblebee and the robots.
It's almost like
take up
focusing
half
on the
of
humans was a mistake,
which is still better than nothing, I guess. And I swear to Primus, if you ever refer to this Bumblebee as a pet, you are the same people who like it when Sam treated Bumblebee as a piece of property than an actual friend.
Yeah, I don't know why something cute yet badass is considered a pet. It's like they're Omni-Man or something. Like, I do love Bumblebee, but he's more like a pet to me. And name one time where you treated a cute friend as a pet. That is just wrong.
Something must be really wrong with you, Bayverse cultists. Haley Steinfeld as Charlie Watson is a much better human protagonist than Sam Witwicky and Katie Yeager combined. I mean...
Yeah, someone said in a video about the misogyny of the Michael Bay films that Charlie Watson was the protagonist Michaela was supposed to be. That was what I watched that video before I even uploaded, I think, these videos. Yeah, I must have watched them before I even after I recorded this, probably.
I mean, she's got a good heart, and she hugs Bumblebee, which is something that Sam Witwicky cannot do. The Chad Charlie Watson versus the virgin Sam Witwicky. Jorge Lindenberg Jr. as Memo, he's kind of relatable because he has a crush on Charlie, and he even name drops the GoBots when he first meets Bumblebee.
And I will give it that. I really love the will they won't they arc between Charlie and Memo. And I just love how it ends like, yeah, we're not up to that yet.
John Cena as Agent Jack Burns, he was really good in this role.
Yeah, I use the no image available for when I talk about John Cena's characters. Like, the whole running joke about, you can't see me! And whenever I talk about John Cena, it's like, why can't I see anything? And this joke will never not be funny.
And the new Decepticon Triple Changers, Shatter and Dropkick, were a delight to watch, especially with the voice performances of Angela Bassett and Justin Theroux. And Charlie's family was pretty entertaining to watch, much better than Sam Witwicky's parents, especially Charlie's little brother Otis, played by the kid from the 4th Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie that nobody likes. He's much better in this one than he was in that garbage. Oh yeah, and Blitzwing was there. He kind of looks like a Seeker. He didn't do his triple changer gimmick, and he was just there to die. Originally, this movie was going to be part of the Bayverse, but The Last Knight lost $100 million, but then Travis Knight decided to rework this film as a reboot to the franchise, and I don't want to go into further detail. I recommend checking out this video by Theorymus.
Another Theorymus shout out.
I think it's better off as
He's
a
like
reboot
the only
than a
Bayverse
prequel.
fan I can tolerate.
Now, the only issues I have with this movie that's nearly putting this film down from being a perfect film is that the score for me kind of feels like a bit of a diet Steve Jablonsky in some areas, and the song Back to Life by Haley Steinfeld, which is pretty decent, just doesn't sit well for me. It's just like, it doesn't like resonate with me like the other songs by Linkin Park, Imagine Dragons, or On My Soul from Rise of the Beasts, and If I Fall from TF1, but it's an alright song, to be honest. Overall, the movie is pretty great, and really does show the real power of a Prime. If you're a fan, you'll love it. If you're a non-fan, you'll love it. If you hated the 5 Michael Bay movies, you'll love it. If you love the 80s, you'll love it. Overall, this movie is a really, really, really great movie. Like, not Oscar-worthy, but still a fun, decent, fun time. And it kind of sucks that it got moved to December in competition with Mary Poppins, Aquaman, and Spider-Verse. Yeah, I didn't watch Mary Poppins Returns, and I didn't watch Aquaman until I had to watch it for The Lost Kingdom back in 2023. But I enjoyed Spider-Verse and Bumblebee. Aquaman was just okay, but yeah, you get my point.
Win a trip to New York with Transformers Snack and Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
Before I talk about in detail on why I like Rise of the Beasts, I am aware of the comments Lorenzo Di Bonaventura made about the film being either a reboot or a prequel. It's best that he keeps his mouth shut and let me enjoy the movie. Okay, let's get to talking about Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I also wanted to shout out Paper Plane for his Lies of the Beasts video series, which was one giant video until it got re-uploaded into 3 parts. Yeah, shout out to Paper Plane, aka my personal favorite live-action Transformers movie. This was, without a doubt, one of my most anticipated movies of 2023, along with Barbie, Oppenheimer, Across the Spider-Verse, and Mutant Mayhem. And like those movies, they really lived up to the hype. Like, in a nutshell, this movie is basically everything the Bay films did, but better. Like that one scene in The Suicide Squad where Bloodsport and Peacemaker have a talk like, he does exactly everything I do, but better. True. But that was like the Bayverse and the reboot verse in a nutshell. The reason why this film is better than the Bay films is because that it is around 2 hours long, it has less humans, they are not annoying, you can like them, and they focus on the Transformers more. And that's what a Transformers movie should. And the Bay film and the Bay fans shun this movie and give their Precious Holy Grail 5 movies a pass. Like, what's so special about 5 mediocre movies over this piece of awesome? Do focus more on the Transformers and make the humans likable and not annoying as hell. I really enjoyed Anthony Ramos as Noah Diaz. Maybe it's because of my love for In the Heights and, of course, Hamilton. I wanted to mention Mr. Piranha from The Bad Guys, but I forgot to, sorry. Because I really enjoyed Anthony Ramos' performances as Usnavi and Philip Hamilton. And Mr. Piranha. And he is, like Charlie, he's got a good heart. And I really enjoy Dominique Fishback as Elena Wallace, because she isn't a forced romantic interest, and she does her job quite well, and she's not a racist stereotype, thank Primus. She does give a good performance. And of course, the Autobots. Optimus Prime is just, take his arc from Age of Extinction, but don't make him a bloodthirsty Autobot who hates humans. He just...
Yeah, let's talk about Optimus throughout the Bay films yeah, he should not kill. He should only kill when it's necessary, like when he loses his cool. Like, Optimus should still be the caring leader who values life and freedom and the right for the Optimus should value freedom and life and only kill when he loses his cool. But he doesn't have to be flanderized to be a serial killer.
Just has a genuine dislike towards him, even though he is aware that Bumblebee did make friends with Charlie 7 years ago. Mirage, he is one of the best.
Yeah, Bumblebee, Optimus in this movie wanted nothing to do with the humans, but he didn't want to kill them. He just wanted to leave them alone. In my headcanon, it must have been like, Optimus would have been like, "Hello, fellow humans, how do you do?" And then the humans would have just like, "Ah, giant monsters! We're calling them U.S. military!" "Oh no. Yep. We'll just leave the humans alone. We want nothing to do with them." But Optimus... Shut up!
Best Autobots in this film, and Pete Davidson's performance really highlights how awesome he is. RC, nice to see her in her accurate G1 form, and she is a better bike. She's one of my favorite bike formers since Transformers Prime, and not this one-wheeled abomination from Revenge of the Fallen. Wheeljack, I love Pablo.
Pablo Nation, we rise. He is one of the peakest redesigns in all of Transformers. You cannot make me hate this redesign. And Christopher Fernandez's performance. You just gotta love everything he's in. From Ted Lasso to Spider-Man No Way Home to freaking Sonic 3 when he was in that telenovela playing twins. And where Shadow's like, "Just kill them both." You cannot hate Christopher Fernandez in anything he's in.
He has one of the best redesigns in the reboot verse. Bumblebee just dies. And that sucks because we spent like one movie with him, and it's a real shame because we needed to sideline him and give space to a Mirage. But that's okay. He comes back in the final battle, set to the needle drop of LL Cool J's Mama Said Knock You Out. And he was really awesome in that one scene, especially when he helped Noah fight off the Terracon armies in the final battle. That was a really awesome scene. And since this movie is called Rise of the Beast, that means we're gonna get the Maximals, right? And we do. 4 of them to be exact. Optimus Primal, voiced by Ron Perlman. He's actually pretty cool. Airazor, voiced by Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh, was just there to dump Expedition, get possessed, and die. And Cheetor and Rhinox, they had some cool moments in the final battle, but they barely had any dialogue, and I do believe that Rhinox only spoke one line during the final battle where he's all like, "We'll clear the way," voiced by David Sobolov, and I really wish that I really wish the Maximals did more in this movie, but they served their purpose quite well. As for the Terracons, they were awesome. I loved Peter Dinklage as Scourge and his awesome truck mode with the various insignias on his grill and on his robot mode.
I also want to point out that Michelle Yeoh and Peter Dinklage were also in Wicked as different characters, as teachers of Shiz University. Like, they went from Transformers to teachers of Shiz. Have you ever noticed that?
I really love how they incorporated Nightbird into this movie, especially with her awesome lines like, leaving so soon, or I'm getting real tired of you humans. And the fact that she's voiced by a trans woman really makes her amazing. And Battletrap was just there, and at least his Studio Series figure was pretty accurate to the movie. And Coleman Domingo as Unicron. Let me just say that they handled Unicron better than in The Last Knight, because this is the Unicron that we are all too familiar with, because it's just a giant planet consumer And that's it. That's what Unicron needs to be. Not Earth, just a giant planet and an enemy of Primus.
Yes.
And here's one thing that the reboot verse does better than the Bay films. Another thing. They all talk in vehicle mode. In the Bay films, the only characters that talked in vehicle mode were Skids and Mudflap in their ice cream truck mode, RC and the Twins, and Bumblebee through his radio, and Hot Rod in The Last Night. That kind of sucks. I just really need more scenes where Autobots and Decepticons and whatever factions talk in their vehicle mode. Give us more of that in the next movie, please. One thing in the film that really divided audiences, both fans and non-fans, are the use of VFX.
And the script and characterizations, apparently. But, listen, you can't make me hate this movie.
This is the first Transformers movie to not have ILM do the VFX, as they were done by 5 studios: MPC, Weta, Onyx, Third Floor, and Howlin' Entertainment. And they do a good job. And I think that you should get more than one VFX company to do the VFX for you, because it can be really tiresome if you just rely on just one VFX studio, because you gotta do like more than one. Logical.
Yeah, it's more cost effective and less time consuming to have more than one VFX company. And I have not seen one VFX artist on Twitter or on Blue Sky or on Instagram talking about how bad making this movie was. But I just love seeing VFX artists talk about how fun it was to do films like this.
Speaking, and you should really treat your VFX artists fairly. But one thing that unites the fans is the music by Jean-Nic Bontemps. Unlike Bumblebee, where the music was kind of fine at best but forgettable at worst, this has some of the most memorable tracks in the film, like Unicron's theme carried over from the 1986 movie to the new Maximals theme, to the new Autobots theme, to Scourge's theme, to Till All Are One, which reuses Arrival to Earth from Steve Jablonsky's time doing the 5 Michael Bay Transformers movies. I just want to put that score on blast, especially the demos. Overall, this movie truly is worthy in the eyes of Primus. And before I move on to TF1, I just want to tell you that this is the first Transformers movie where I own the full cast, both Studio Series and Mainline.
Yeah, that bit kind of aged poorly a bit because we just got Ape Link, and I don't have Freezer and Novocaine, or Scorponok, or Double Punch. And I just got the Studio Series 102 Optimus Prime, which is a pretty good figure in robot mode, but in vehicle mode he's a bit of a mess on the backside, if you know what I mean. That's why I display my Rise of the Beast Studio Series Prime in robot mode and Mainline in vehicle mode, because it's more pleasant for the eyes and in the display shelf.
That's pretty awesome. Also, Hasbro, where is our Studio Series Titan class Stratosphere?
Yeah, we're still waiting for it, Hasbro. He deserves a Studio Series figure more than the twins.
New from Transformers 1, it's Power Flip Optimus Prime. Every hero has an origin. Turn Orion Pax into Optimus Prime to become the leader Cybertron needs.
Shit.
Power up and convert to truck mode.
This movie would have been a box office hit
then
if it had
Power
better
Flip
marketing.
With ultimate armor. 4 modes, 1 iconic hero with the new Power Flip Optimus Prime from Transformers 1.
And here we are, the last film of this ranking, Transformers 1. I already reviewed it back in September. I saw it 5 times now.
6 now,
and
since I have
my
DVD.
opinion has not changed on this movie. It is still one of my favorite movies ever made. It is still my favorite movie of 2024 so far.
And right now
along with
on
The
my
Substance
Letterboxd top
and
4.
Dune 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. I love everything about this movie, and I'm not going to sound like a broken record, but check out my review. I'm just going to keep it short and simple and put it in the worthy in the eyes of Primus tier. But
then I
will
decided
say
to
this.
give my viewers a bit
Screw
of
you
whiplash
all for not
by
making this
ranting
movie a
about
box office
how
success.
this movie bombed at the box
What
office and ranting
were
about
you all
why
thinking
people
when
did
you
not watch
skipped
this movie
in cinemas? I genuinely don't believe what's wrong with you. How could you not see a good movie in the cinema? How could you waste your money on Joker 2 over a good Transformers movie?
I still want my money back from Joker 2, by the way.
Movie for once. What is wrong with you? I don't know why a good movie like TF1 made less money than a bad movie like Joker 2, despite it also bombing, by the way. But I hope that this movie will give us the sequels we need, and I hope that everyone will appreciate how this is better than the 5 Michael Bay movies, the 1986 movie, and the reboot movies.
And it appears to be doing well on streaming. Let's hope the sequel doesn't become a streaming exclusive. Just put the sequel on the big screen for everyone.
But at least we can all agree that it made more money than Megaflopolis. Screw you, Coppola.
Yeah. And suck it, film bros who think they're better than everyone, but who are just high in IQ talking and low on IQ thought process.
So, what have we learned in this 3-part journey? The 1986 movie was fun. 2007 was pretty good. The sequels can suck at a varying degree. The reboot verse was a breath of fresh air. And TF1 was just a gift from Primus. Overall, I hope these movies get better and better. Keep the same level of consistency that Bumblebee, Rise of the Beasts, and TF1 gave us. Overall, it was fun talking about these 9 movies with you. I'm Blue Boy the Nerd. Enjoy yourselves, and peace!
And that concludes my commentary for these 3 videos.
Overall, it was fun to talk about them talk about the 9 movies, and I look forward to doing tier lists for Ninja Turtles movies, Miraculous and Kwamis, and some Spider-Man movies in the future. Like, if you love these videos, comment below on what movie series I should do a tier list on. Anyways, this has been Blue Boy the Nerd. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good time. Peace out.